The Hill is reporting that during Super Tuesday, the phrase, "How can I move to Canada?" was really, really popular on Google. They say, quote, "The search, 'How can I move to Canada?' spiked 350% as results came in late Tuesday, showing wins for GOP frontrunner Donald Trump. Searches for move to Canada are higher than at any time in Google history," the company later added. Yeah, here's the thing about this story. It is totally unsurprising. Because when you look at Donald Trump, the one thing I can say for sure about him that I'm almost 100% on is that I know if he were to become president, he would be massively authoritarian in nature. Massively. Because that's how he is right now. He's just an authoritarian through and through. He'll make his mind up, he'll do something, and he has zero concern for the consequences and zero concern about the other people involved. He just does something. Process, system, checks and balances. Who cares? My ass cheeks. Excuse me. That's classic Donald Trump. Excuse me. I'm talking. Excuse me. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to the guy. It just doesn't matter. So when it comes to the actual policies he would be in favor of, I don't think anybody really knows what he would do. Anybody. Because he said everything. I mean, there are times when he says we need to get involved in fighting ISIS more. Not only do we need to fight ISIS, we need to go after their families. We need to kill civilians. He advocated for war crimes on live TV. That's insane. That's insane. So he says that half time, and the other half time he's like, I would get out of Syria. I would let Vladimir Putin go after ISIS. I don't care. I want nothing to do with it. It's got nothing to do with us. Let's get out. Okay, well, which is it? Do you want to fight more or do you want to fight less? Do you want to fight more or do you want to fight less? On economics, sometimes he's like, yeah, I'll make all the corporations stay in America, so we build all of our stuff here. We won't, allow any corporations to go overseas anymore. Sometimes he says that. Other times he says, hey, in the U.S., we have to keep wages low. He doesn't even want to raise the minimum wage. Wait, which is it, Donald? Do you want to make people rich and happy, and are you looking out for the people and trying to bring jobs back here and corporations back here? Or do you want to fuck them over in the worst imaginable way and keep wages low and make it so that they work full-time but they don't make enough money to survive because you're not in favor of a living wage? Which is it? Which fucking is it? And the list goes on and on. You could do this on virtually any topic. Healthcare. Half the time, oh my God, we need a free market solution and we need to, have competition between the states and let the health insurance companies compete between state lines. And that's the far-right Republican idea. That wouldn't do dick to fix anything. All that would happen is you'd have all the insurance companies go to one state where they get the lowest taxes and everybody would have to buy from them and they'd collude and keep the prices shitty for everybody. So he says that half time. The other half the time he's like, we can't let people die in the street. To call it single payer, call it whatever you want to call it. We can't let people die in the street. So we're going to have people, we look out for people. This is not America if you let people die in the street. Which is it, Donald? Which is it? He says everything. He says everything. So, what's the only thing you can logically take away from that? Well, based on his history and based on his actions, the one thing I can say with relative certainty is that whatever he does, he would do it in an authoritarian way. He wouldn't care about checks and balances. He wouldn't care about the American system of government. And that's a horrible precedent, and you never want to give somebody like that power. Ever. Ever. So I think people get a sense of that. They might not be able to vocalize it and crystallize it and put it into words, but I think people get a sense of that, and then that scares the shit out of them. Because even when you look at somebody like Mitt Romney, you get the sense of like, hey, yeah, I disagree with him on pretty much everything, but he seems reasonable enough where he's not going to make me want to leave the country. I can hold my nose while he's in office for 4 years, whatever. With a guy like Donald Trump, you're like, oh no, we're actually playing Russian roulette right now, aren't we? Like this could be it. Like this could be the end of the U.S. What are we doing here? Some people want to go to Canada. And also, let's face it, Canada just elected a perfectly lovely government with Trudeau. So, not to mention their healthcare system. I like Canada if only for that reason is enough to make me go, Canada. But look, when push comes to shove, am I going anywhere? No, I'm not going anywhere. That may be a horrible move because if we have a President Trump, I might be in a political prison somewhere if he comes across a YouTube video I did on him. But I'll ride this bitch into the rocks. That's what I'll do. And I was here for the Bush years. You guys were here for the Bush years. That was horrific. Hopefully a Trump presidency wouldn't be any worse. But, oh my God, how sad is this conversation? We're really having a conversation about if Donald Trump is president. And that's a somewhat likely scenario at this point. Certainly a probable scenario at this point. So I'm demoralizing myself here, but let's just say I get it. That spikes for how can I move to Canada spiked 350% during Super Tuesday.